Hold up, before you get to watching this video, let me talk to you for a second. Hit that bell down below and subscribe to the Fitz Take Podcast YouTube channel so you'll know when every episode is dropping or if something has been posted on this page. Also, be sure to follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. Now back to the episode. The Louisiana Ragin Cajuns facing the Tulane Green Wave on Saturday and falling to the Green Wave. That was their first meeting with them, the 30th meeting all time, the first time since 18, the first time in Lafayette since 2012. And the Cajuns fall 41-33 in that matchup. Elijah, we were out there on that extremely toasty, hot, burn-up day, and we made it through without passing out, staying as hydrated as possible. Before anything, I have to say that, man, like ESPN, Fox, CBS, all the major networks, NCAA, whoever is over this stuff, man, y'all cannot have 11 a.m. and 2:30 kickoffs in South Louisiana. Period. Cut it out. People was passing out there, man. It's too hot for all of that. People was getting carted out on stretchers. I'm looking at old women, young people, little babies and stuff hot. People red in the face. Coach Dez came in there looking redder than the polo shirt he had on. It's hot out there, bro. Come on, man. You messing up the fan experience. Like, yes, we want to see games be played on TV, and it was great for the Cajuns to have an opportunity to be in the national spotlight, being on ESPNU, playing against a Tulane team that, in my opinion, are just a few plays away from potentially being a ranked team. They lost to Kansas State by a touchdown, and they played close with Oklahoma at points in the game before they lost it. So you're talking about a team that could have essentially been 3-1 and maybe 25 in the nation. Yeah, that's great that they're there. Put that game at 7 o'clock, please. Please, brother. I got a 30-pound camera on my shoulder. I'm running around sweating. It was rough. 22,000 fans were there in the stadium at the beginning. By the half, them folks was gone. They was at home, and I don't blame them. It's on TV anyway. I love them. I'm going to give them the money with the ticket. I'm going to get me a beer or two, but I'm going to go back to the house. I don't blame them. I understand. I'm with you. So,
hey, I ain't mad at any of that, Fitz, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. I mean, when I got home yesterday, we was all covering this game. As soon as we got home, showered, I didn't cool off till about 6:30. I got home at 5. I didn't cool off till about 6:30, and I took 4 naps. I woke up the first time, said, you know what? Maybe I don't need dinner. I'm just gonna go back to sleep. Woke up the second time. So I'm all right. I'm gonna go back to sleep. Third time, my stomach started growling. That's the reason why I really got up. I said, hey, Carrie, you want something to eat? You hungry? I'm getting there. Sun go down. I finally go get something to eat. I come back. I fall asleep again. Let me tell you something, man. When I woke up this morning, I felt like I played in a football game. I'm not lying to you. My legs was like
my leg.
I was like, was I out there yesterday, Lord? I don't know what I was doing. I'm walking up and down the sideline with you and Megan. Other than that, I did not put on a helmet. I did not put on the full equipment, and I knew this. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is unhealthy. This is a crime. You don't need to kick off anything on a turf like that. And they said it got hot until what? It was like 120 something degrees on that turf.
I saw somebody with a radar gun posted on Facebook, said like 139. Let me see if I can find that picture, because I think I screenshotted it somewhere. Yep. Let's see. Y'all can see that. Wait, right there. 138 on the turf. Come on, man. Then I don't think, they get TV timeouts, but in high school they get the hydration timeouts. Shoot, they need a ice bath timeout, because listen, brother, the first college football game that I was ever a part of, I'm gonna tell the story and then we're gonna talk about these Cajuns. The first college football game I was ever a part of, I didn't play in the game, but I remember I warmed up. We were playing against Huntington in I think it was in Alabama. I think it was wherever it was. It was an 11 a.m. kickoff. Dog, people's cleats were melting at the bottom because it was so hot on their turf. People was having to either like put on other like if you were a vet, you knew to always bring like 2 or 3 pair of cleats. People was swapping their cleats out, or we warmed up and then they was taking them off. They getting to the sideline, taking their cleats off. Man, it's too hot. Come on, man. You can't do it. Not in the deep south. Leave the Big 12, the Big 10, leave all them upper conferences up north. Let them have them early games. Down here and in the deep south, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. We'll throw them in there too. Whatever. No. Make a 4 o'clock slot. Something. 4 o'clock and later. Heck, I'll even settle for a 9 o'clock game. I don't care. We'll just stay up there all night. I don't care. We'll do it like we in the Pac-12 or something. Just whatever. We can't have that again. No. As a reporter, we love them because you cover the game and then you at home, like Elijah said, by like 4 or 5 o'clock. But yesterday, that was the worst one I've ever been a part of. That was rough. So that's our soapbox about that. But as far as the game, the Cajuns gave up a whopping 272 yards on the ground to the Green Wave. Running back Mekhi Hughes for Tulane was as advertised. Elijah, what were your thoughts on how the Cajuns were coming out and, like Coach Des said at the end of the game, like they were throwing out their best blitzes, they were filling in the gaps, but they just were not able to stop the Green Wave's run game.
I think like you just said, they threw out their best of the best in that first. Like towards the second half and like going back to their usual playbook, which works. Doesn't say it worked, but you could tell they had some wrinkles in that first half where they were just trying to catch the Green Wave off guard, hitting them with behind the wheel shots down the field, coming up with some good play actions for Ben Walridge and connection with receivers. Also, they was getting the looks that they wanted because they was also drawing a lot of pass interference. And that's not on the stat sheet, or if you wasn't watching the game, you wouldn't know that. But they was getting what they wanted offensively. Defensively, I thought they played well the first drive. But then after that, it was just more so going downhill because of they were wearing and tearing with the run game. And Tulane had a great plan with that, just getting to their spots and getting to whatever the ball carrier, whoever was carrying the ball, because they had a couple of guys that could do it. It was getting to their spots and making sure they can pick and point which way they want to attack the defense. Great job by the Tulane on that part. But UL, if I'm you, I wouldn't hang my hat too low on this loss. And that's only for the reason that I'm not going to make excuses for the weather, but I'm going to make excuses for the simple fact that, yes, you had this game, and yes, you could have beat Tulane, but I just really think it came down to the manpower. And I think that, when we talk about Tulane and UL recruiting wise and things like that, not saying that they both don't have talented rosters, I think it just came down to they had a guy that you just couldn't stop. I know Casey Osai went down the linebacker room, but at the end of the day, they just had that power. I mean, they played against Oklahoma and Kansas State before getting to you, so they kind of already knew what to expect when going to the Big 12 and playing those guys. So I just don't hang my hat down too low. I know that this was a game that you should have won and you could have won, but I still wouldn't hang my hat down too low because at the end of the day, you got Wake Forest next week, which I think you compete and you can go beat those guys.
Yeah, there are no moral victories in a loss, especially when you feel like you had a lot of opportunities to be in it. Your offense puts up 33 points. But, when I was looking back at some of the cut-ups in the highlights that I was looking at, there was a lot of missed tackles in that situation. And even Coach Des said it like, you got to wrap up, drive the man back, and make a play. If you meet him in the hole, you got to go in there and wrap him up. And it was a lot of moments that just wasn't happening by the Cajuns defense. And that's not to say that they cannot get better at that because the season is still very early. But Coach Des said it in post. That's on tape now. And so teams are going to look at that, and Wake Forest, regardless of what they like to do, schematically, they're probably gonna come out and they're gonna run the football. And you're not gonna necessarily be coming in with a rah-rah speech for your defense, but you're definitely gonna be coming in and telling them, look, guys, this is on tape. Everybody that we play from here on out until we can stop it is gonna run the football against us. So buckle up and get ready for it. That's the only thing you can do. Hoping that Casey Osai can be back, because I did see him. He came down the tunnel with the team, and I noticed that he was in street clothes. So he did not play the entire second half. I'm hoping that he can be back. Before the guys that are in there, the linebacker room, the safeties, the corners, the defensive line, everybody that's a part of the defense, you got to come together. You got to buckle up your chin strap. You got to go out and play ball. The name of the game is to take the man in front of you and drive him backwards and move him in the opposite direction against his own will. That's what this thing is all about. It's, to some people, a very barbaric game, but that's the nature of the game. The point of this game is to line up in front of you, Elijah, and say, I'm finna drive you 4 or 5 yards back in every position that I'm in. If I'm a receiver and I gotta block you, I'm trying to take you back that way so somebody can cut up in behind me on the toss play. If I'm the offensive line, I'm trying to displace you left and right, up the field, whatever I need to do. Same way with the defense. If it's inside zone and I got the A gap and you step in that A gap, I got to meet you in there. You know? So that's one thing for sure. But then also momentum swinging plays that happened. Uh, Coach Dez talked about how the interception, the pick six there at the end of the first half was more of an option route for the tight end. Ben was looking at the concept a little bit different than what the tight end saw it as. So it happens as an interception. You get that interception. And then out of the opening kickoff, you return it back for a touchdown. And again, look, I wish I might do that. I might go back on my Facebook and post that full post game press conference because Coach Dez was fired up, man. He was saying like guys are gonna have to go down and cover, or they're going to be fired. He was saying getting guys out of their positions. They're going to not be on special teams. That's what it boils down to. And so it's very interesting. It'll be interesting to see how these guys respond. Those two moments in the game, I really feel like is what kind of shifted the entire pendulum of this game for UL. Offensively, again, you put up 33 points. That's the thing that you have to do. I know there was a moment in there where they were on the goal line, fourth down on the 3-yard line, and I think me and you talked about it in real time, and I said I probably would have went for it. But like we always say, the game changes in different ways. You never know. So it is what it is, man. Yeah.
I agree, man. I agree. I think that with everything going on, I feel like with excuse me, with how the game went and the game flowed, I think Coach Dez actually did a pretty good job. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he did a pretty good job. I
Yeah.
think with only things that was we talked about in the press conference, the 4th and 9, the flare route he throws behind them instead of going for the sticks. But he explained in the press conference that's not what he wanted to do. He was looking to go deep downfield and get past the sticks. So I think what he did was he actually managed it. I think he managed it pretty decently.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it is these a lot of people don't know unless you really deep into the history. The coach at Tulane is actually a coach was a coach at Troy. So it's not these are not battles that he never had before. They both had these battles for a year or two. So he knew how to come in and game plan against this. He knew what he wanted to do because the Troy's philosophy didn't just switch over when he became head coach at Tulane. He knew what he wanted to attack. So I think what he did yesterday wasn't bad at all. I just hope that he carries this over into Wake Forest because again, I think that Wake Forest is a beatable opponent for UL, and I think for them to get back on track and have that same confidence, that same walk that they had, If they could take this momentum, even though it wasn't a win, but they could take this momentum and bring that over into North Carolina and beat Wake Forest, I think UL will be right back on track. But I also think they'll be 2 steps better than what I would think that after this loss against Tulane.
Absolutely. Looking at what was the last? Wake Forest is currently 1-2 on the season, and in their last 5 contests, going back into last year, they are 1-5. So their losses are to Ole Miss, which is probably going to be a top 3, top 4 team in the entire country, and they lost to Virginia by 1, and they blew out North Carolina A&T. And so the Cajuns will try to regroup, get back on track, and go out and win, get back in the win column as they will face off with the Wake Forest. Is it the Demon Deacons?
Yep, Demon Deacons.
Boy, what is a demon?
Thank you so much for watching this clip of the Fitz Take podcast. Be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also follow me and Elijah on our social media platforms. They will be linked down in the description. And remember, every episode of the Fitz Take podcast will air right here on the YouTube channel every Monday at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.